Guys, how's it going? Today I want to go over some real basic geometry stuff. So our last unit of the year all has to do with geometry. I kind of do it this way so you see it last. This is really not going to be all that applicable to what you guys do next year in ninth grade. It's actually going to be, you take an entire year of geometry in 10th grade. So we're going to go over this, and then towards the end of the year we'll swing back and we'll review a bunch of stuff. But anyway, if you come here for basic geometry, I'm sorry. So let me talk about basic geometry. Okay. Basic geometry. Okay. So a couple things you guys need to know. First of all, geometry is the study of shapes. Okay, in short, its root means geo means earth. So hold on. So geo was gonna, my pen not gonna work. Oh boy, there it is. Geo is earth. Meter is measure. Okay, and Y denotes that it's a study, like biology or chemistry or things that end in Y, or to history or studies. Okay, so it is literally the study of measuring the Earth. Okay, so it's measuring, literally the Earth, like how big the Earth is. That was one of the original uses for geometry. But more importantly for us, the things that are around us in the world. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the real basics today, and that is just some of the vocabulary and some of the figures that were associated when we're working in 0, 1, and 2 dimensions. Okay, so our first figure we need to know is what's called a primitive notion. It's called a point. Okay, this is a point. It has no measurement. It has no weight. It has no height. It has no width. We denote it by this little circle, but it's really actually not this little circle. This circle just tells you where it is, okay? Points we designate with uppercase letters, so this will be point A. Okay, so that is point A. All this is a location in space. It is what we call a zero-dimensional figure. Okay, it's a zero-dimensional figure. Okay, so if you guys have heard of 2D and 3D figures, and we talk about one-dimensional figures, we'll talk about in a second. This is a zero-dimensional figure, meaning it has no length, no width, no height. It's just a location. If you get really kind of abstract and theoretical about it, it is something that you have to accept in geometry. What you'll see with geometry as you guys go further is a lot about proving things. Pretty much making a statement saying, hey, this is true, and let's prove it. And let's prove that it's always true. So I'll give you an example. A triangle has a total of 180 degrees. That is a statement, right? There's ways to prove that, and we'll talk about some of those things. A triangle has 3 sides. That's a definition. You can't prove that a triangle has 3 sides. So this is a primitive notion. It is just a point, okay? So again, never this. You're never going to have point A, no good, no good, no good. Always uppercase letters, okay? So how would you describe this? This is point A, all right? Over here, go point B. Usually, if you're having multiple points, we name them consecutively, A, B, and the next point would be C. It doesn't have to be, but it can be, okay? Typically, we try and keep it nice and simple. Point A, point B, and point C. All right, so let us connect the dots, right? So I'm going to connect these dots, and I'm going to create this. Okay, this is not a line. Okay, you need to be very careful how you describe things. In everyday English, this is a line. Okay, in math, this is a line segment. Okay, line segments end. Okay, line segments end. So it has 2 endpoints. This is endpoint A and endpoint B. This is a line segment. If we wanted to name this, we would call it line segment AB. We draw an A, we draw a B, we draw a line segment over it, okay? This is a one-dimensional figure, okay? Meaning it measures one direction. You can call it length, right? We could call it width. We could call it height, right? There's other words like breadth, I think that's how you spell it. That's very British. Okay, if you want to call it the breadth. Okay, so there's all these different ways. It could be the length, the width, the height. It's just, it measures in one distance. So an example of that distance would be something like, I don't know, 5 feet, right? If I said from point A to point B is 5 feet. Well, that's one dimension. It's feet. There's 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Okay? All right. So now that we know what a line segment is, let's talk about what a line is in math. Okay? A line in math does not end. And if you think about this, this is not uncommon. This is not something new. Can I do this? Okay. Will work? Oh, well, okay. So this is line. This is a line. It does not end. If you think about that, when we were graphing on a XY coordinate plane, right? Let's think about this. Those little lines and stuff like that, I always told you need to make sure they had little arrows on the ends, right? And then when we were graphing lines, right, we were making sure that they had little arrows on the ends to tell you that this line keeps going. This is the same line. It's the same definition of math. It's something that carries over whether we're on the coordinate plane or whether we're not on the coordinate plane. Okay? So this is a line. Let's give it a different name. This will be a line, what we call AB. Let's call this line CD. Okay? We name it by 2 points on the line, typically the 2 outermost points we know. Okay? So if we said this was line CD and I said there's another point F in the middle. Well, CF would be okay because the line does pass through F, but we typically pick the outermost points that we have, okay? So again, how would you write this in shorthand? If you were writing about this, you say this is line CD, okay? And instead of drawing little stopping points, or endpoints as we like to call them, this is line CD. It is also a one-dimensional figure, okay? The last one we have to know is array. This is normally in class where I make a joke about my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my wife's parents. My father-in-law is named Ray, and she likes to yell at him all the time. So, right, yell, Ray. But let's talk about it, okay? So a ray is like if you took some of the characteristics of a line, some of the characteristics of a line segment, and put them together. It has an endpoint over here, and then it goes on forever in the other direction, okay? So let's call this, I don't know, A, B, C, D. Let's call this E, F. This is ray, E, F, okay? So this is ray, E, F, okay? So again, how do we write this? E, F, always from here to here. It ends at E, right? And goes until F. We do not write this. No. You're always going to start from an endpoint. The symbol goes this way, and this is your endpoint, and this is where it goes on for forever. So if I said something like this, if I said, call this GH, well, then this is ray, always in this direction. Where's the endpoint? It's H, where it's going forever, G. Okay? So just watch that. It's not that complicated, but again, your endpoint is always where you're starting from, and it's always going in that direction. Okay? All right, and the last thing we need to know for today is what happens when we put two rays together. If we put two rays together, we get what's called an angle. Okay? And we'll get to how we're going to measure angles and things like that in the future. Angles we need to label with 3 letters. Okay? A, B, C in this case. So we would call this angle A, B, C. We could also call it angle C, B, A. What happens is this. Your vertex, which is a common endpoint of ray BA and ray BC. So we have ray BA and ray BC. They have a common endpoint, okay? That point is called the vertex, okay, and it has to go in the middle. So again, just pretty much go in order, A, B, C, or C, B, A. You cannot name this. This is not angle CAB. No good, okay? Your vertex has to be in the middle of the name, okay? Just as a last thing, this isn't really anything that we need to know for today. But angles can also be formed if I had, so say I had 2 line segments intersected. Well, again, I have A, B, C, D, and they intersect at E. Well, I have a bunch of angles here, right? I have angle A, E, B, right? Angle A, E, B. You'll sometimes see them as this, angle AEB. This is typically how I write it. These are the same thing. And we'll talk about what this means. You might see this later on, a little E in front, a little M in front, but we'll talk about what that means, okay? But again, what's this angle? BEC. What's this angle? CED. And this one over here is angle DEA. Again, you could reverse all these. We can call this one BEA as long as E is in the middle. This one could be angle CEB as long as E is in the middle, right here. And this one could be angle DEC. Again, E is in the middle. And angle AED as long as, again, E is in the middle because E is where they all intersect. Okay? So again, we'll talk about this more in depth. This is a real brief overview. Try and do the skills I suggested on IXL, and we will pick this up tomorrow. Thanks, guys.